What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talking about today's episode 190, the college sports news. Now, today's episode, we're talking about Virginia Tech because they got a new football coach. Plus, we got a new representative out of the group of 5 schools. And can USC actually make the college football playoffs? All that and much more right now on this episode. So we're starting off this one with Virginia Tech. Just as the top of the show, Virginia Tech has hired James Franklin as their new head coach. I love this hiring. I think James Franklin is probably the best option for any place. Well, obviously not anymore now. Virginia Tech, I think, is definitely a great spot for him. Looking at the ACC, it's not a strong conference. Virginia Tech doesn't have a lot of expectations. Yes, you expect Franklin to make this team better. Right away, probably not, but I still think Franklin's going to get this team a lot better. Give it some time. Virginia Tech will probably be at least a top 5 school in the ACC. Next year, I would figure they're going to be some sort of higher favorites to win the conference. I wouldn't go that far, but I think this is a great hiring by Virginia Tech. Awesome job by them. NC State and Virginia are set to play a game in Brazil next season. This will count as an ACC contest between the two. This will be the first ever college football game in Brazil. So now we had our first England game next year with Arizona State and Kansas. Now we're getting our first Brazil game, NC State and Virginia. Very exciting to expand out to other countries. They announced that this will be played during Labor Day weekend, so that will be something to look forward to next college football season. A&M and Mike Elko agree on a new contract extension. That'll be 6 years, supposedly making him a top 10 paid coach in college football now. I don't know what the number was. I heard rumors about $10 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but regardless, Elko will be there for 6 more years at Texas A&M. And the last thing to talk about, reports are coming out that Arizona State's quarterback Sam Leavitt might not return next season for the team. Supposedly it is doubtful. Now we're getting conflicting arguments here. Some arguments are saying that it is doubtful that Leavitt comes back. Other arguments are saying that there's no set in stone decisions made by what Leavitt's going to do next year. Honestly, you got to be naive to not think there's no chance that a team is going to lose their top players to a bigger program. It's just the way college football is now. So Leavitt leaving Arizona State will not be the end of the world. It will suck, yes, but I will also take it with a grain of salt. It's very early in the quote-unquote off-season. We're not even in the off-season yet. We're still in the 2025 season. 2026 is not anywhere close. I want to just hold off on that and worry about what's going on right now with this team, Jeff Sims, Arizona State right now. Don't worry about what Sam Leavitt has to do for next season. The season is not even over for Arizona State and every other team out there right now. All right, let's end the score recaps from last weekend. We'll start off with Clemson beating number 20 Louisville 20-19. South Carolina choking against number 3 Texas A&M on the road. 31-30 contest going the Aggies' way. It's the first win since 2004 for an SEC team trailing by 27 or more points. It happened 100 or 287 times. Only one win happened since 04. That was A&M last weekend. Number 11, Oklahoma beat number 4, Alabama 23-21. A huge win for Oklahoma. Alabama and Kalen DeBoer's black hoodie is now 16-1 with him wearing it. So that's a tough loss for the Crimson Tide. Number 10, Texas lost number 5, Georgia 35-10. Florida kept it close versus number 7, Ole Miss 34-24. Honestly, a lot closer than even a 10-point score, so good job by the Gators. Number 9, Notre Dame smoked number 22, Pitt, 37-15. Number 16, Georgia Tech squeaks by Boston College, 36-34. Right now, Georgia Tech is not looking good, really not exciting to watch. Back-to-back weeks of them playing. They had a bye week in between the games of really poor performances from Tech. So really, I think, 3 weeks ago we had Keenan on, maybe 4 weeks ago now. It looked like Georgia was going to be a nail biter game back and forth. Right now, Georgia Tech is not in a good form. Really have to bounce back this upcoming week against Pitt if they want to have a chance and have some sort of people outside looking in, rooting for them, but not good form right now for Georgia Tech. Number 21, Iowa lost number 17, USC 26-21. A really ugly game in Southern California. A lot of rain. You can see it may have caused a lot of trouble for Iowa and USC offensively wise. Number 18, Michigan squeaks by Northwestern in Wrigley Field, 24-22, walk-off field goal for them. Michigan did announce, though, they lose running back Justice Haynes to the rest of the season with a foot injury. Number 19, Virginia beat Duke 34-17. Duke was actually a favorite to win the ACC going into that weekend. I don't know how. Virginia stomps them. They keep at top of the ACC conference there. Number 24, USF lose to Navy 41-38, pretty much eliminating them from college football contention. Arizona upsets number 25, Cincinnati 30-24, a big win for the Wildcats. West Virginia lose to Arizona State 25-23, a really close game though. Jeff Sims again looking pretty damn good in that center role. Texas Tech was the last game on this one. They came into this undefeated going against Kentucky. Kentucky ends up smoking them though, 42-10. I really had higher hopes that it would have been a closer game. Ended up not being that close at all. All right, let's head to the CFPs now. Let's go 1-25, starting off with no movements for 1 through 3. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M stays 1, 2, and 3. Georgia gets a +1 to 4. Texas Tech gets a +1 to 5. Ole Miss and Oregon also get +1s to 6 and 7. Oklahoma gets a +3 to 8. Notre Dame stays put at 9. Alabama drops 6 to 10. BYU and Utah get a +1 to 11 and 12. Miami gets a +2 to 13. Vandy stays put at 14. USC gets a +2 to 15. Georgia Tech stays put at 16. Texas drops 7 to 17. Michigan and Virginia stay put at 18-19. Tennessee a +3 to 20. And then the rest go from unranked to the following spots: 21 Illinois, 22 Missouri, 23 Houston, 24 Tulane, 25 Arizona State. The teams that dropped out this week were Louisville from 20, Iowa from 21, Pitt from 22, USF from 24, and Cincinnati from 25. Now looking at the bracket, here's the bracket. The byes belong to Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, A&M at 3, and Georgia at 4. The first matchup would be number 5 Texas Tech against number 12 Tulane. Tulane being the first and highest ranked group of 5 school in the rankings. Number 8 Oklahoma versus number 9 Notre Dame. Number 11 Miami, seeded wise, Miami although is ranked 13th in the rankings, would be seed 11 because they're the highest ACC team remaining, versus number 6 Ole Miss, and then number 7 Oregon versus number 10 Alabama. Now looking at the bracket, what do I like, what do I not like about this? The bye teams, I love it. I think all those teams are pretty good. Yes, you had a shaky game against A&M and a shaky game for Indiana. I don't think that should deter them from a bye. They look pretty damn good all season long. Everybody's going to have a shaky game throughout the season. It's hard to go undefeated. So I think 1 through 3 looks great. Georgia getting a +1 into that 4 spot. A big win against Texas. They're at home. They pretty much control their own destiny when it comes to the seeding. I think Georgia deserves that spot right now. Texas Tech at 5 against Tulane at 12. Again, fine with Texas Tech there. Tulane, I'm still surprised that they are up there. I think North Texas might be a little bit better than Tulane. I can't remember if they played against each other and Tulane ended up beating North Texas, but North Texas only has 1 loss this year. And even James Madison, I think, despite them only having 1 loss on the year, I think James Madison needs a little bit more praise on what they're doing this season. If they win out and the American teams keep beating up on each other, James Madison might squeak in with a 1-loss conference championship right into that 12 spot, despite not being ranked in the top 25. That could be something to note there. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, 8-9, fine with. Miami will not be staying there at the end of the year, so they're just a placeholder right now. I do not think Miami makes the playoffs either. I think they're just a placeholder because of the highest ranked ACC team. I think the ACC probably only gets 1 team in. The only way Miami makes it into these playoffs is if a couple teams ahead of them lose between now and conference championship week, which I do not think that's a high chance at all for these teams, especially looking at some of the schedules. Like, I don't think Ole Miss is losing the rest of the year. Oregon might be a team that loses the rest of the year, but if Oregon loses against USC, then I think USC is that team that gets in there. Speaking at the top of the show, the question, does USC have a chance to make these playoffs? I think USC has a huge chance to make these playoffs. The biggest thing for them, they got to win out. I don't think Ohio State, Indiana lose in the Big Ten play, so they'll play for Big Ten championship games. So it'll be a 1 versus 2 for the conference, and I don't think either team, despite losing or winning, will bump the other one out of a bye spot. So regardless, they're going to be in a bye situation. So conference championship, I think, is stuck there at 1 and 2. So Oregon has to win out. And at that point, it's coming down to this weekend against USC and Oregon. I think USC, as long as they're able to get a chance to put up points and defense holds their end of the bargain, I think USC has a great chance to win this game. And if USC does win that, they go into last weekend against UCLA. UCLA is not the same UCLA that we saw when they were on that 3-game win streak. I think they beat UCLA. They're sitting comfortably on championship weekend, waiting for the committee to come out and put them into the playoffs. And I think there's a great chance they do that. So they have to win against Oregon. That's what's number 1 there. So I do not think a team like Miami would get in at that point. Ole Miss, Oregon, Alabama, I think it's fine right now, but as I just said, I think Oregon will not be making playoffs just based on the fact that I think they're going to lose against USC. Now, if they don't, I think they're beating Washington and they're in the playoffs comfortably. So that's pretty much what it comes down to. Who wins that game between Oregon and USC? The winner of that is making the playoffs. The loser is done. All right, before we move on to underdog picks, reports about a 24-team playoff came out a few days ago. The Big Ten supposedly brought this up to the other commissioners of the leagues, saying that the format would be 24 teams, 4 automatic bids for each of the 4 Power 4 conferences, 2 auto bids to group of 5 schools, and 6 at-large bids. Now, I do not want this to expand. I think we all know this playoff is going to expand, whether it is 16, whether it's 24, or even more than that, which when you get past 24, that's a long college football season. I do not think that looks good for a lot of teams there, and that's a lot to ask for. It's a lot of games now, and it's going to be even more when you add a few more games to their schedule. But looking at what it would look like now, just taking the top 25 and putting them into a playoff format. Obviously, some teams would not be in there because of the auto bids and things like that, but it wouldn't be as exciting, to be honest. It would mean a lot less for teams to make playoffs if there was a 24-team playoff. I think last year having the Cinderella of Boise State and Arizona State in there, I mean, Boise State had to be in there because they're a group of 5, but a team like Arizona State, who nobody expected to be good last year, ended up going on a run, on a tear, should have beat Texas in that first game at the Peach Bowl, maybe make it to the semifinals and put up a good fight against Ohio State. Who knows? But it's the kind of thing where that was special, and if you're going to have 24 teams, you're not going to have these special teams making these playoff runs. It's going to be who's the best in the top 25. You pretty much take that, you throw it into a 24-team bracket. That's pretty much what it's going to come down to. I don't like this format. I still like the idea of auto bids. I like having group of 5 schools in there, give them the hope and chance. I like the idea of having other teams in the conferences all getting a couple spots here and nobody getting favored on this conference gets more than this conference and that conference gets more outside of the group of 5s. I like having everybody be level there. 6 at-larges is also fine with me. I don't think that's the end of the world for that to happen. So it's a format that I would not be excited about. But out of all of them that could happen, I think this is probably the most fair 24-team bracket ideas that I've seen out there. All right, let's head to underdog picks. 2 weeks ago, because there was no episodes last week, Iowa was my underdog pick. They lost 18-16 to Oregon, but they covered the 6.5 point spread. So my season total is up to 34 now. Now, with that being said, though, we have this week a tough matchup. Nebraska at plus 9.5 versus Penn State on the road. I think there's a good chance they do cover. I think Penn State's not that great. Penn State did keep it close against Indiana, so can they bounce back and do that with Nebraska? Nebraska doesn't have Raiola for the rest of the year, so could that be a problem for them offensively and scoring wise. Seemed like first week against UCLA wasn't that bad. They have a bye last week, so we got to see what's going to happen. I think Penn State keeps it close. They could come out with a win, but I think Nebraska actually has a good chance to win that game. So I got Nebraska plus 9.5, not just to cover, but I think outright win that game. All right, games to watch this weekend. Honestly, not a lot of big high up matchups to like focus on this week, which means that there's probably a great chance to see a lot of underdog teams come out and get some big wins against some ranked schools. So this week, the 4 that we're going to pick, number 15 USC versus number 7 Oregon. I think Oregon has everything in front of them to make the playoffs. They just got to win out. The bad thing is they had to face USC this week. I think USC is a better formed team than what Dante Moore and that Oregon offense is looking like. So give me the Trojans to win that game. I think it's going to be a huge upset, but I'm not going to be surprised when it happens. Pitt versus number 16 Georgia Tech. I already mentioned Georgia Tech's in a bad form. Pitt's coming off a tough loss. Can the offense bounce back after being pretty much shut out most of that game against Notre Dame? I think Pitt can get it done, but I'm going to go Georgia Tech because they're my ACC team. I got to keep running with them. Got to hope that Tech gets the dub here. Cal versus Stanford, the battle for the axe. A classic Pac-12 matchup. Never, ever not going to think about that. I think Cal is a better team than Stanford, but Stanford's at home. Rivalry games, anywhere it could go. Give me the Cal Golden Bears to win this one. But again, rivalry week or rivalry game, Pac-12 foes. Cal keeps it close and wins. But Stanford, they might be sneaky good. Number 11, BYU versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati coming off a tough loss. They're at home, though. They could spoil the season for BYU if they win this game. I think if they win that, BYU's done, unless they win conference championship, which will be tough because of how clustered that is. All the tiebreakers, wins and losses, scheduling and things like that with other teams that are likeness kind of thing. A lot could happen. Cincinnati wins this. They're going on and really spoiling BYU's season. I think BYU gets it done. BYU against bad teams look really good. BYU against good teams, not so much. So I don't think Cincinnati's really all that great of a team. Give me BYU to win that one. All right, let's head to hockey now. We'll start off on Friday's score update. Number 13 UMass lost to number 16 Boston College 7-3. Northeastern lost to number 13 UConn 4-2. Michigan, second in the country, beat number 5 Penn State 7-1. Number 18 Minnesota State beat Lake Superior State 2-1. Ohio State beat number 7 Wisconsin 5-1. Number 17 Colorado College lost number 4 Denver 2-1. Heading over to Saturday now, number 12 Boston University lost number 9 Quinnipiac 6-2. Number 15 Providence lost to Merrimack 3-2. Number 2 Michigan lose to number 5 Penn State 4-2. Number 16 Boston College beat number 13 UMass 4-0. Ohio State unranked lose to number 7 Wisconsin in overtime 6-5. Omaha shuts out number 3 Minnesota Duluth 2-0. Arizona State beat number 6 North Dakota 4-2. Vermont beats number 10 Maine 2-1. Number 13 UConn beat number 11 Northeastern 4-3. Number 4 Denver beats number 17 Colorado College 3-2. Now, with that being said, here's the top 20 for the upcoming week. Michigan State and Michigan State put it 1-2. Denver gets a plus 1-3. Minnesota Duluth drops 1-4. Penn State and North Dakota State put it 5-6. Western Michigan gets plus 1-7. Wisconsin drops 1-8. Quinnipiac State's put at 9. UConn gets plus 3-10. Maine drops 1-11. Northeastern drops 1-12. Dartmouth gets a plus 7-13. Minnesota State gets plus 4-14. Boston College gets plus 1-15. Providence drops 1-16. Cornell gets plus 2-17. UMass drops 5-18. BU drops 7-19. Union goes from unranked to 20. The only team to drop out this week was Colorado College from 17. The other receiving votes had Ohio State at number 1, Colorado College, Omaha, Michigan Tech, and RIT. For the upcoming week, the games to watch, we have some really nice matchups here. Number 18, UMass versus number 16, Providence. Number 11, Maine versus number 15, Boston College. Number 19, Boston University versus number 12, Northeastern. Number 20, Union versus number 17, Cornell. Ohio State versus number 2, Michigan. And lastly, number 8, Wisconsin versus number 1, Michigan State. Really good matchups to watch this weekend when you're watching college hockey. All right, guys, that would do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. 190 episodes in the books. Appreciate you guys so much. Let us know down in the comments. What do you guys think of the bracket? Do you guys like the college football brackets? Do you think there's any teams that are getting snubbed in these brackets? And what do you think about USC? Am I the only one that thinks USC has a great chance to make playoffs? Or am I in over my head and Oregon's going to stop them on Saturday? Please let me know down in the comments below. We'll have a great discussion about it. But have an awesome rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys later.